Throughout the annals of warfare, few weapons have instilled as much primal fear and dread as the flamethrower. This insidious device, capable of projecting streams of searing flames, has left an indelible mark on the psyche of soldiers and civilians alike, serving as a potent reminder of the depths of human cruelty and the relentless pursuit of ever more devastating means of destruction. The origins of the flamethrower can be traced back to ancient times, with early iterations emerging as far back as the 5th century BC. As described in source, the earliest flamethrowers date back as far as the 5th century BC in the form of long tubes filled with burning materials such as coal or sulfur, and were used in the same way that one would use a blowgun. However, these primitive devices were crude and largely ineffective, serving more as novelties than practical weapons of war. It wasn't until the dawn of the 20th century that the flamethrower truly came into its own, thanks to the ingenuity of German inventor Richard Fiedler. In 1901, Fiedler developed two models of a portable flamethrower, known as the Flammenwerfer, German for flamethrower, which were eventually adopted by the German army in 1911 after years of refinement and testing. As source explains, the smaller, lighter flamethrower, the Kleinflammenwerfer*, or small flamethrower, was designed for portable use and could be carried by one man. Using pressurized air and either carbon dioxide or nitrogen as a catalyst, it shot a stream of burning oil as far as 60 feet and had enough fuel for about 2 minutes of total firing time, though not consecutively. The flamethrower's true baptism by fire, however, came during the trench warfare of World War I, where it proved to be a terrifyingly effective weapon against entrenched enemy positions. As described in source, the flamethrower's psychological impact was perhaps even more potent than its physical destructive power. But what is this? Has hell opened up under our feet? Are we right at the rim of a furious volcano? The trench is filled with flames, with sparks, with bitter smoke. The air is unbreathable. I hear hissing, crackling, and alas, yes, the cries of pain. These words, penned by French Corporal Louis Barthas, capture the sheer horror and terror that the flamethrower instilled in those who faced its wrath. The fear of being burned alive, an ancient and primal dread, was now a grim reality on the battlefields of Europe, and the psychological impact of this new weapon was profound. Despite its effectiveness, the flamethrower was not without its limitations. As source notes, the flamethrower was not a superweapon. Its short range and the small amount of fuel a single man could carry on his back meant it had to be used sparingly. Nevertheless, its ability to strike fear into the hearts of enemy soldiers and break the stalemate of trench warfare made it a valuable addition to the German arsenal. The flamethrower's reign of terror continued into World War II, where it found widespread use by various combatants, particularly in the Pacific theater. As source explains, it was used to great effect in the Pacific against dug-in Japanese defensive positions. The introduction of napalm, a highly incendiary mixture of naphthenic and palmitic acids, further amplified the flamethrower's destructive capabilities, allowing it to cling to targets and burn with intense ferocity. One of the most vivid accounts of the flamethrower's horrific effects comes from an unnamed French officer. It was something too terrible for words, he told a Scotland-based newspaper in July 1916. A nightmare, perfect hell. Despite its effectiveness on the battlefield, the flamethrower's legacy is one of controversy and ethical debate. The sheer cruelty of inflicting such horrific burns on human beings, coupled with the psychological trauma it inflicted, has led many to question the morality of its use as a weapon of war. In the aftermath of World War II and the Vietnam War, where flamethrowers were extensively employed, international efforts were made to restrict or ban their use. As our source notes, though no international law explicitly bans flamethrowers, they were officially retired from the U.S. military arsenal by the Department of Defense in 1978. Today, the flamethrower stands as a grim reminder of the depths to which humanity can sink in the pursuit of military advantage. Its legacy is one of terror, suffering, and the erosion of the very principles that seek to preserve the dignity of human life, even in the midst of armed conflict. As we reflect on the history of this fearsome weapon, we are reminded of the importance of exercising restraint and upholding the principles of moral and ethical warfare. For while the flamethrower may have been an effective tool of destruction, its true cost was measured not only in lives lost, but also in the erosion of our collective humanity.